Hi everyone, today I'm going to change the brake pads on my Ford Mondeo. It's a bright and sunny day out today, so I thought it's a good time to do it. So let's jump in. So here are all the tools I will be using for this job. I have a floor jack, a jack stand, the new brake pads, some copper paste for the brake pads, some lubricant for the brakes, my socket wrench, and I'm using a drill driver with a socket on it. I have a tool for pushing in the brake pistons, so I will leave some links down in the description. It's a good idea to put a block of wood or something to choke off the wheel so that the car won't move even with the brakes off.
So I'm starting by checking up the car and loosening up the lug nuts. With the lug nuts loosened up, I'm checking up the car all the way so that I can put the jack stand under the car. And next I'm using my power drill with the socket on it to get the lug nuts off, and then I'm placing the wheel under the car just for extra security.
Here we have the brake disc. This is the caliper bracket, which is holding the caliper in place. The caliper pins are over here, these two, and they have a bolt in them holding them in place. So I forgot to mention we need to use a socket set for getting these pins out. It's the 13mm.
Next we need to get the handbrake cable out so that we have more room to get out the slider pins. As you might notice, I already have loosened up the slider pins, so I kind of messed up with the order here. It makes more sense to just take the handbrake cable out first. By pulling back this lever we can get the handbrake cable out, but next we still need to loosen it up from those holders so that the caliper can move freely.
So I'm removing this bolt now. So now I sprayed some rust removal oil on the upper bolt. I bought the lower bolt back in place enough that it holds the caliper in place, so it's easier to work on this.
Now with the slider pin bolts loosened up, it's just a matter of getting the bolts out and wiggling the caliper to get it loose. Now with the caliper out of the way, I'm trying out the slider pins next, and they seem to be moving nicely. Then it's easy to get the brake pads out.
Okay, so the outer side brake pad actually had quite a bit of surface area still left. This inner side actually had some as well, so it's not that bad. I think it's the other side which is worse. You always need to change both sides.
I'm using a metal brush to clean off the caliper bracket. The parts which touch the brake pads need to be cleaned so that the brake pads don't get stuck. Still doing some more cleaning with the file.
Okay, so comparing the old brake pads to the new ones, there's a quite big difference, so I think it's a good time to change them. We want to put copper paste there where the brake pads are touching the caliper bracket, so it's these two little wing tips here. Okay, so now with the new brake pads, they are a lot more thicker than the old worn brake pads, and the caliper piston is not entirely in, so the caliper will not fit over the new brake pads. What we need to do is compress the caliper piston, and I can see those grooves over there, so this is most likely one which needs to be rotated in. So I'm going to use this Caliper piston compressor tool to rotate and press the piston in. Okay, so you need the right hand side compression tool because the piston only rotates in one direction, and otherwise always if you have the left hand side one, it would cause the tool to loosen up each time you rotate it. So I think now the piston is all the way in. I take the tool off.
Now with the piston compressed, it's easy to fit the caliper for the brake pads. Next we need to put the bolts into the slider pins and tighten up the bolts.
Okay, so now we have the caliper sliding nicely on the caliper bracket. So there's quite a bit of space in between the piston and the brake pad. So what I'm going to do is press on the brake pad to remove that extra space. So now let's put the handbrake cable back in place.
To get the cable back into place, it's just a matter of wiggling it around and pushing it into position, but then you need to pull back the lever and snap in the cable.
Okay, so now the handbrake cable is back in place.
Let's next put the wheel back in position and put the lug nuts into place. Now we can take the jack stand out and lower the car down a bit. With the torque wrench at 120 newtons, we can tighten up the lug nuts in a star pattern. When the torque wrench makes that clicking sound, you know that it's at the correct torque. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it if you leave any suggestions as comments down below, and give a thumbs up if you got value out of this video.
Hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I have a lot of other car repair videos and other repair videos and also home automation videos. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.